everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to this crazy corner of the internet where I hand out free eyeball band-aids before torturing you with my shitty art skills. Today, we're doing a different kind of video because I want to share a story with you. I've gotten questions over the years about how a mac and cheese fox came to life, and it's a really exciting time, but I just need to share the entire chapter with you. You know what I mean? It's kind of a fun time. Well, anyway, behind all of this greasy, cheddary fur is a conglomeration of chapters and moments that produced a kaleidoscope of gay, foxy behavior and, half-ass humor. But here we are. Today, I'm gonna draw my life. Our story starts right here in Michigan. I grew up in a bustling part of suburbia with mom, dad, and 3 siblings. I have 1 older brother and 2 younger brothers. We attended a private Christian school, as all young gay things are supposed to do, and learned all about the big man in the sky and how easily people do the opposite of what they preach. Okay, obviously not all religious people are like this, but my particular church was a painfully, comically accurate diorama of socio-political mindsets from ages that should have basically just stayed in the past, alright? And anyway, at a mere 10 years old, I realized my sexual orientation, which both explained a lot about my ability to catwalk with the best of them and made me feel very, very lonely. I knew no one around me could understand, and honestly, I was afraid no one ever would. So my siblings and I grew up with a Sega Genesis and all, and I mean every single one, the Sonic the Hedgehog games. I loved the incredible environments, the simple controls, the catchy music. It was just a really fun time. Sonic is fast, but Tails is kind of a genius. Like, he's this little tiny fox and has an IQ of 300. Are you kidding me? Like, goals. As I played the games, Tails taught me that if you were really smart, it didn't matter how old or tall or strong or big you are, you can still make a difference and help people. He still inspires me to this day. Once I learned how to use that fancy machine we call a personal computer, I found a website called DeviantArt, and I learned that the Sonic fanbase drew lots of their own art. Some of it was safe for work, and we'll pretend that's all it was. From here, I discovered the furry community when I was 11 years old. I asked Jeeves very politely to please dispense 1 furry knowledge. Dear Jeeves, of course, is no longer with us, but he could search with the best of them. I love Jeeves. Anyway, you have to keep in mind the year is now roughly 2004, and the internet was still learning how to walk. People were very focused on things like privacy, safety, the whole concept of don't talk to strangers online, that sort of thing. So here I am, a tiny, tiny kitsune, talking to Jeeves, my best friend Jeeves, and Jeeves says, "Hey, look at this thing." And I looked at the thing, and I found a huge community. There were people who understood what I felt about being gay, and that was new for me. There were people who understood how fuzzy cartoon characters created a lot of happiness for many people. I wasn't alone anymore, but I was afraid of what would happen if anyone I knew in real life found out I was talking to strangers online, or even worse, found out about me being gay. I gotta tell you, I was super disappointed. I needed support badly because I literally had no one in real life who could understand what I was dealing with, but I was so afraid of being found out. So I just had to wait. I had to wait until I got older, I could only watch from afar as others lived their truth, made friends, and experienced joy. But I didn't have to sit around and do nothing. I created a character for myself, one that represented everything I wanted to be. He stands for truth, kindness, justice, and equity. He believes in everyone's ability to smile and love. He's amazing with technology and code, and he uses that knowledge to help his community. Most of all, he'll do anything to protect his friends and family. He wants to bring light to a dark world. In creating this alter ego, I was committing myself to a goal, right? So I was making a promise. One day, I could have what the rest of the furry community had. I could have love and joy, and I could meet people who understood what I knew and what I was going through. And of course, this alter ego had to be a fox. His name is Doon. So, time marched on. I began attending a public high school. This was a time when I had some control over what classes I could take in school, so naturally, I found any programming classes I could get my hungry little paws on and enrolled myself in them. I should also mention here that I started playing trombone in the 5th grade, so I continued with this in high school. I ended up playing trombone actually for 8 years. Playing in a marching band also brought me some of the best experiences of my life. The auditorium stage in the concert band setting brought equally beautiful moments to an otherwise bleak chapter of teenagehood. I found solace in music, mathematics, and code. Probably one of my most critical moments in high school was coming out of the closet at merely 15 years old. After that, I met a handful of people in '09 and 2010 who were also gay, but I still had a long way to go before I could give anybody a meaningful relationship or even friendship. I was super just angry that the world could cause anyone to feel trapped, alone, and wrong. I just wanted to feel loved. When that underlies every interaction you have with the people around you, you can't keep friends. I mean, there's no way. You only ever talk to anybody looking for a relationship, and it just prevents you from enjoying the friendship that could be, you know? I had to learn that lesson the hard way. Like, falling face first into the cement kind of hard way. I hope anyone can learn from this mistake, even people my age now. Despite my baggage, I pushed on and continued to learn everything I could. I also started writing music in 2010, and honestly this helped more than I even know how to say in words. In the end, I graduated with a knowledge of Spanish, calculus, Visual Basic, maintaining a long updo, and being gay in public. But that was just the beginning. I still had much more to do. After high school, I was totally burnt out. I had been in school for almost my whole life, and I was just really tired. I decided to take a break, only for a little while, but in that time, I took up my first job at the front desk of a hotel. I learned how to take phone calls, use a reservation system. This job and my first supervisor honestly taught me everything I know about customer service and going above and beyond to create an amazing customer experience. I also learned something about leadership here. If you're willing to be responsible for a decision, you can trust your knowledge and experience, you intend the best for those around you, and you're willing to put in the work to create good, you can actually be a leader. My first supervisor is just an amazing human being. If you happen to be watching this, please know I'm super grateful to you for the impact you've had on my life. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, by this point, I had lost my momentum almost entirely. I kept in touch with almost none of my former classmates after high school. Most of them, of course, went on to college. The few people I did stay in touch with were interested almost exclusively in partying. Any good scientist knows the value of experimentation, as they say. But what I failed to realize was that my completely broken mental and emotional health made me even more susceptible to addiction. So once I realized I couldn't keep a job, I turned to those vices. So picture, if you will, 2013, the night of my 20th birthday. I went over to a friend's place and we partied. They knew it was a special occasion, so it was definitely right to party. And as a surprise, they offered me something new to try. It was incredible, but I indulged in way too many vices that evening. It was really scary. I was completely out of my mind, and I experienced my first panic attack. I was hanging out in heaven and then went straight to hell in a matter of minutes, maybe even seconds. For 6 hours straight, I stayed awake, actually afraid of dying. They called it a bad trip, and they might have been right, but in truth, it was more like a wake-up call. I could not continue down this path I was walking. What happened to that promise I made as a kid, and what about all my momentum through high school? I'd lost my way. And this was a pretty powerful reminder. I needed to get back on track. It was a profound, terrible experience, and it was still really important. But I gotta tell you, it took me a long time to make peace with that memory because it was, as you can imagine, pretty traumatic. So, for a while, I wasn't sure what to do. I was just in a world of pain, and I needed time to sort things out internally. So, I began watching YouTube. I'd enjoyed the platform in the past, but this time I really dove into it head first. I quickly found a bunch of people I enjoyed, so people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Differently, and so many others. But the creator who stood out to me the most was Jenna Marbles. Above all else, she was herself, and nobody else. She was random, she was hysterical, she was kind, didn't really have a specific agenda other than wanting to make other people happy and entertaining people. She is who I resonate with the most to this day as a content creator. I learned from her and others that it's possible to make others happy, that there's always an opportunity to share kindness without sacrificing authenticity. Well, what did Ebenezer Scrooge do after being confronted with his own mortality? He got back out in the world and spread joy, right? Maybe. I rediscovered my own ambitions and I made a plan. I recommitted to everything I'd been striving for. So I made myself a budget. I took up a job, I saved money with the help of my family, and I'm super grateful for them for that. I got clean, even to the extent that I quit drinking coffee, funny enough. But that honestly had more to do with managing a new anxiety condition that I landed myself with after all that crazy partying. So that was fun. I started making YouTube videos too, but I knew that I had a lot to learn about filming, editing, and being an internet personality. Remember, we all start somewhere. One day, hanging out with a friend, as you do, I went to a hookah lounge, and two people walked in while we were sitting down. One of them was wearing a wolf head and a tail. It was like lightning struck me. I don't even know how to explain that sensation. But, I'd had Dune for so long. Yet, how on earth did I forget about the furry community of all things? It was crazy. Maybe the universe saw that I was trying to create good again, or, try to be a productive, contributing member of society, and so the universe said, hey, here's your reward, you get to remember the furry community. Well, that's how I'd like to see it, but who really knows, right? That day in 2014, I made new friends. I got up, immediately started talking to them, and it was amazing. So by this point, I'm an adult with ambitions. Woo, how exciting. I finally had the opportunity to explore what I'd wanted to explore all those years ago. It was time. So I made a profile on Fur Affinity, and I joined some local furry groups on Facebook. I was super brand new, but I was so excited. Some of my goals were finally coming to fruition, and it was a great feeling. In those Facebook groups, I made introductory posts, just to say hi, let people know I was interested in making new friends, that sort of thing. And on one of those posts, I received a comment from this super cute guy who also said hi and wanted to be friends. He was, of course, none other than the incredible Speedy Husky. We talked almost every day. He traveled to my city just so he could take me to my first furry bowling meet. Apart from the two people I met at the hookah lounge, I had never honestly met any other furries in person. Speedy had this gorgeous, light brown hair with blonde highlights. Naturally, since there wasn't a cloud in the sky this afternoon, every single ray of light from the sun just had to get caught somewhere in that hair. Incredibly, I couldn't even focus on that once I looked into his eyes. Big, beautiful oceans reflecting something brighter than starlight. Wow, how sappy. But think about it. Have you ever been to the beach on a Saturday afternoon? Gentle, warm winds, no clouds, nothing but peace and joy, serenity, tranquility, blah, 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 right? Think about all that. That's what it feels like looking into those eyes. In that moment, I knew something impossible. I knew in every fiber of my being that this was the person. He changed everything. So we went bowling. We had food, we giggled, we made magic. A few months later, we put a label on it. Intuitively, I understood that this was incredibly different from the relationships I'd had in the past. This felt very natural, mature, and real in a way that's hard to kind of say with just words. At the end of 2014, I commissioned a good friend of mine to produce DoonTheFox 1.0, my first fursuit. Dune was ready in March of 2015, just in time for my very first furry convention, Motor City FurryCon, affectionately known as McFic. Speedy and I went together, of course. It was nothing short of magical. This community continued to amaze me. I was truly beginning to realize what I'd been missing out on all those years ago when I first learned about these incredible human beings. I was so happy, and I made so many friends. Later that year, I moved in with Speedy. We'd been dating for a year at the time. I quit my job in search of work in a new city. In early 2016, I began working for a tech support call center that would start me on my career path. I continued to make videos, and the very first forest creatures started to notice a strange, new, energetic fox on the interwebs. As the years have gone by, I've continued going to cons, making new friends, making videos, meeting and connecting with other content creators, and so much more. After taking a break from school all those years ago, I jumped back in with a community college in 2017. I've nearly completed my associates, and I'm going for a bachelor's too. I participated in dance competitions, podcasts, and convention panels. More of you began watching, liking, and subscribing than I ever really expected. I met Firestorm6 in 2018, and the amazing friendship I would ultimately develop with this beautiful artistic genius and gentle soul is something I wouldn't trade for the world. He truly brought Doon to life in a way that I didn't even know was possible. By the time I arrived in Chicago to party with animals from absolutely all over the world during Midwest Fur Fest 2018, I found my way toward his room, put on a brand new suit, and filmed a quickie unboxing video. That is one of my favorite collaborations to this day. I've made so many videos since then, and I've collabed with amazingly creative people like Nos Hyena, Dameron the Arctic Wolf, Wolf Masters, and Lucrative Lion. My favorite video of all time that I've produced to date is the Furry Love music video. As some of you know, I normally like to edit videos pretty heavily, but this video was largely edited using just jump cuts. Most of the work occurred while filming. It was a long script needing lots of footage, but the end result was so worth it. It made me so happy. If there's anything I can say I've learned in my time walking this earth, it's that perception truly is reality. If you choose to love yourself, and if you choose to be a force of good, you can achieve anything. It's never easy, and rarely if ever will you get the Disney ending, as much as you'd like to, and it will also take a lot of time, but you can help others, and you can always bring more kindness into the world. That, above all else, is why I'm here. I want to help you smile in a dark world. So, where am I going next? That's a great question. COVID-19 has obviously put a damper on some of my plans, but once you start a bowl of mac and cheese rolling down a hill, you can't stop it, Deborah. Once the world is safe again, I'm getting back into conventions. I'm going to learn how to dance, for real this time. I'm going to learn how to write music even better than I know how to do now. I'm going to get even better at making videos and creating giggles. I'm going to get my degrees and keep working at my career. I'm going to travel everywhere and see the world. I'm going to sunbathe on a beach and dream about all the things the seagulls could possibly be talking about because I want to be a part of their conversations. One day, who knows. I'm going to eat tiramisu in Italy and roll around to the grasslands of Scotland. I'm going to return to Canada and breathe the freshest northern air while partying with some of the most beautiful people I know. I'm going to party with some very cute animals in Australia too. And the entire time, whenever I can make someone laugh or smile, I'll be happy. You, the forest creatures, are cordially invited to journey through life with me. Let's run through the woods together. Well, I hope you enjoyed this enigmatic autobiography composed of shittily drawn images and my ability to think of words on the spot. I was inspired by the YouTube of days past, right? The Draw My Life challenge was something that went around probably, gosh, I think 10 years ago. It doesn't really get done anymore, and to me it felt like a way to connect with my goals from the past and be able to say, this is how I would like to celebrate this milestone of 3,000 forest creatures. I can't even fathom that many people in a room. So just knowing that there are that many people watching these videos is insane and so flattering and amazing and makes me happy that I can make so many people happy, you know? So doing this Draw My Life challenge felt like the right way to sort of nod to YouTubers of the past and connect with the goals that I had back then. That is just a semi-deep dive style cross-section of part of what makes up a mac and cheese fox. How exciting! If there's anything you would like to see in a future video, of course, let me know in the comments because I love your feedback and ideas, and part of what I want to do here is make the stuff you want to see. So keep me in the loop, you know? Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. It might be a music video, it might be something to do with my moving jaw, maybe it has something to do with the fact that I have eyebrows. Who knows? That's what life is all about. The adventure is just super exciting. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!